almost halftime during Thursday Night Football, so you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to a pregame edition of Believers Talk, where we give you the pregame between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. Guys, the pregame of the game this Sunday as our Buffalo Bills at 7-3, looking to stay at home game. It's our sixth home game of the season already. We only have two home games left after this game. So we're looking to win at home, something we've lost twice already this season at home. We don't want to do any more losing at home this season. Let's make sure we get some of those wins this season. Again, guys, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, like this video as people are coming into the chat. Make sure you hit that like video and share this video. Let people know that we're here to give you that pregame between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. We'll go over some notes. We'll go over some team rankings for both the Broncos and the Bills. Maybe try to see where the Bills can really get an edge in this game. We know the Broncos are 3-7, but guys, their schedule, some of those losses look worse than they actually are. I mean, they've lost a lot of close games. Most of those at home, but still losing a lot of close games are the Denver Broncos, and that has to have us a little bit concerned going into our game this weekend with the Denver Broncos. We know that, Joe Flacco is not playing for them, so that will help us out a little bit probably. They have Kyle Allen in there. Allen versus Allen. A lot of people say, hey, Daniel, how you doing? Can you guys subscribe? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, Bill Kid. No offense. I mean, I'll go check out your channel after this, but I'm not gonna show that just because I'm not gonna promote other channels while I'm here. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. My name is Joe. We're gonna run over some news notes. Again, I want people to get in here, and again, as you're getting here, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Really helps me out. If you are new to the channel, guys, I just recently, and even if you're not new, you know that I just recently got over 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everything you guys have done for this channel, because it is a success from us all. I mean, you all have supported me, and I really appreciate that. Recently gave out some more merchandise. I gave away signature hats during one of our live streams recently. Guys, Believers Talk and hashtag Sports teaming up this year to give you the best live play and reaction coverage. Thanks a lot, Bill Kid. Coverage to every single Buffalo Bills game. So this Sunday, when the Buffalo Bills play the Denver Broncos, you can go over to our friends over at hashtag Sports. Mario and Paul, they're going to have that game for you. Live play and reaction. And if you're not going on YouTube, go on the link below to sportscaster.com where they're changing the game. Click that link and you can have the play-by-play and reaction over there as well. Again, Mario and Paul do a great job. I'll probably be tuning in to watch their live coverage as well. So make sure you hop in, able to talk to the rest of Bills Mafia. Hey, Daniel 1K, you should be proud. Quite an accomplishment. I'm very proud, but it's just the beginning, right? We talk about that all the time, how I just constantly want to give you guys the best Buffalo Bills coverage I can, whether it be breaking news. Now I'm able to go live from my mobile devices, so that has me very excited. If you remember my first year when I started in 2018, you were able to go live anytime. You didn't need the 1,000 subscriber mark. And then in 2019, YouTube changed their analytics, so you had to get over 1,000 subscribers so that you could go live on mobile devices. Well, here we are. I'm over 1,000 subscribers now, and so I'll be able to go live. So whenever there's breaking news, you can expect to hop on YouTube, maybe hang out with either myself or, again, the guys over at hashtag Sports for the breaking news, and then chat in the chat log with other believers, with other Bills fans, and that's always a good time. I enjoy reading you guys' comments as well. So again, make sure you're doing that. Not only is Believers Talk teaming up with hashtag Sports, we are also teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Jeremy from over in BewareTheStampede.com recently started a podcast that is going to go, he's going to put out a new episode Friday, hopefully Friday morning, for you guys to preview this game between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. So I look forward to listening to that. If you're into podcasts, make sure you check that out as well. Halftime coming up here of the Thursday Night Football game. Game is currently 10-7. Houston over the Colts. Again, a game that's really important for the Buffalo Bills. One of these teams is going to jump up in the AFC South. The other team is going to fall a half game back of the Buffalo Bills, put the Buffalo Bills up a game and a half on whoever loses this game right now. So again, at halftime, we'll go through some of the keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills in the game this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. And again, I wrote down some stats from both teams, and we'll go over that throughout as well. And I'll continue to read your guys' comment, guys. Since I got over 1,000 subscribers, I love interacting with you guys, and I really appreciate all that you have done. I am able to use the super chat feature now. So if you guys have a comment you want me to read on the air, just go ahead and use that super chat button. I'm happy to do that for you. Again, it will help this channel continue to grow as well. And that's all I want. I want to continue to grow this channel to give you guys the best Buffalo Bills coverage I can. DeAndre Hopkins with the touchdown for the Houston Texans. I think Jacoby Brissett had a running touchdown for the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, 5-yard TD run for the Indianapolis Colts. So let's go to the Buffalo Bills game. That's the game this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Again, Denver Broncos coming into this game 3-7. The Bills 7-3. Again, this is the Buffalo Bills' 6th home game already. So we only have 2 home games after this one. So it's a little tougher schedule, obviously, after this game. And then obviously we're going to get ready for Thanksgiving, a game that I will be live streaming Thanksgiving Day as the Buffalo Bills play the Dallas Cowboys. So I hope you guys can join me for that as well. But if you look at this game against them Broncos, again, you don't want to look past anybody. And I know the Denver Broncos are 3-7, but they've lost a lot of close games, including their game last week against the Minnesota Vikings, where they had a big lead against the Minnesota Vikings. They're up 20-0 at halftime, and then lose that game 27-24. I think it was in the last minute of play, actually, Minnesota scored a touchdown, go up 27-23, and win that game by 4 points. But Denver's really close. That's the problem. Denver's really close, so you cannot look past them. If you look at Denver's offense, they're ranked 25th in rushing. They're 16th in passing. They're 25th. Points, they're 27th in the league, only getting 17.2 points a game. If you look at the Bills' defense, that really plays well into our hands. Of course, this Bills' defense ranked 3rd overall in the league, talking about 18th against the rush and 3rd against the pass. 3rd in points allowed, only allowing 17 points a game. So you're talking about a team's weakness or the weaker side of the ball against our strength. But if you go on the other side of the ball, it's the same story, right? You look at the Buffalo Bills offense. Our offense is ranked 19th in the league, so a little bit better than the Denver Broncos, ranked 25th. But you look at that Denver Broncos defense, ranked 4th in the NFL. So you're talking about 2 strengths. The Broncos game should be tight, but the Bills need to win if they are playoff caliber. So Dan, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that the Buffalo Bills need to win this game, not only to stay in the playoff race, but again, we've already lost 2 home games. You want to talk about using that home field advantage and being able to use that, propel you to bigger and better things if we're really going to be a good team. And this game's going to be tight, guys. I agree with Daniel. This game is going to be tight. So you want to make sure that, if it is tight, if we win by a field goal late, no one's dogging the Buffalo Bills for winning by a field goal late in this one. Because again, the Denver Broncos have surprised a lot of people, have kept things close, and they could come out with the win here in Buffalo. So I hope they don't. I don't want them to. But we'll talk about some of the keys to how that will not happen and how we can prevent that from happening if you're the Buffalo Bills. But you look at this Denver defense, 4th in the league. They're 11th against the rush, 5th against the pass, and they've allowed 19.7 points per game, which is good for 7th in the NFL. Defend our dirt, says Dalen. Absolutely, I agree with that. You have to defend your dirt. Again, already 2 losses on the road, or at home, this season. You don't want any more losses at home, especially if you want to be considered a playoff caliber team. And speaking of playoff caliber, again, guys, game today, really important when it comes to the Buffalo Bills playoff implications, right? Every Tuesday from here to the end of the season, I go over the AFC playoff race, and it's heating up. And obviously, we're getting closer to the end of the season. Currently, the Bills have a 1-game lead over Houston, Indianapolis, and Oakland, right? Either Indy or Houston's going to have the division lead, but that means whoever loses tonight is going to fall another half game back to Buffalo. Again, hopefully we can win, and that way we can go up 2 games on the loser of the game today. But I want to look at the Buffalo Bills offense versus the Denver defense to start things off. And it's going to start with that injury to Ty Nsekhe, right? You think about that injury to Ty Nsekhe and you think, man, this O-line really needs to do well against that Denver Broncos defense. This isn't what we played against the Cleveland Browns defense defense, and you only had to worry about one guy. In this defense, there's a couple guys to worry about, and obviously everyone knows about Von Miller. Von Miller with 5 sacks on this season. Hey, Fox 87, welcome back to Believers Talk. I haven't seen you in a little while, so I'm glad that you can make it onto this live stream. Let's go, Believers Talk. Thank you very much for the congratulations, 1K. Let's go, Bills. We love our Bills, and guys, if you're not subscribed to Fox 87, check out his channel as well. Always a good follow. But I want to talk about Von Miller, and not only Von Miller, but Derek Wolfe on the defensive end, both of them with 5 sacks this season. And you look at that defensive end slot, and you worry about Cody Ford a little bit. How is Cody Ford going to hold up now that he's going to take the majority of the load, right? Again, Ty Nsekhe out week to week right now, and we'll go over that more tomorrow when I give you my injury report for the Buffalo Bills. 10-10 tie half, says Daniel. Voxer 7 been very busy lately with school. Hey, just glad that you can make it back on here. I know that you had school recently, but yeah, again, if you guys aren't following Fox 87, great follow, so go ahead and follow him as well. But you have to worry about Derek Wolfe on that defensive end position coming in there with those 5 sacks. Again, this offensive line did a good job last week allowing no sacks on Josh Allen. So hey, Ronald Enex, hey Victor, how you doing? If you think about it, our rookie is better suited than Nsekhe against Von. Possibly, but they always move Von Miller around. That's the problem. I worry about Cody Ford in his spot, but Von Miller at the linebacker position, he can go down at defensive end, or he can blitz from that linebacker position. You just don't know where Von Miller is coming from, and I think that's the biggest threat for the Denver Broncos. See, everyone's still looking at Josh Allen and saying this is a guy that we can force to make mistakes. Even though he hasn't thrown an interception in 5 games, they still look at him and say make him beat us from the pocket because he's not able to do so. So Josh Allen needs to be able to hang in there. Again, yes, last week there were no sacks against Josh Allen. It's great. I hope our offensive line keeps him clean. But at the same time, with that type of pressure from a Derek Wolfe, from a Von Miller, you know that there's going to be pressure on Josh Allen at times. And we've seen him in the past struggle with pressure as far as fumbling the ball, maybe making some bad throws. Let's hope he doesn't do that in this game. Again, for 5 straight games, he hasn't thrown an interception. So you have to be really happy about that. But at the same time, every good streak has to come to an end. Just hope it's not this week. Hope it's not the rest of the season. But you know it's going to at some point. I just hope it's not a back-breaking play, right? There are a different kind of interceptions where you throw an interception on 1st and 10, or you throw an interception on 3rd and 15, where you threw a long bomb. Obviously, 2 completely different plays. But we hope that the turnover bug does not strike Josh Allen again in this game, because that would be a good way for Denver to not only stay in this game but win this game. You look at the turnover battle for both these teams. Both these teams are close in both turnovers and penalties, so it needs to stay that way on Sunday. The Denver Broncos are -2 in the turnover differential. The Bills are exactly at even, 0 in the turnover differential. Let me get through some of these chats real quick. Again, guys, thank you for stopping in at Bill-ievers Talk. If you haven't hit that like button, guys, hit that like button. Really helps me out. Who's winning the Colts? Who should we root for in the Colts-Texans game, says Fox 87? To be honest, again, as long as the Bills win, we're helping each other. We're helping ourselves out, and that's all that matters. I'm looking more at matchups in the playoffs, and if we're facing one of these teams in the playoffs, I feel like we would do a better job against the Texans than we would against the Colts. That's just my opinion. Obviously, people can differ on that. Wouldn't mind seeing Frank Reich again, but I don't want to beat Frank Reich in the playoffs until we have to. So I'm going to be cheering for the Texans in this game at home. I picked them on my Wednesday night pick'em video, so I'm going to be cheering for the Texans in this one because I want them to win the division, and then I want the Bills to play them in the first round, or if the Bills hopefully get that first seed or beat the Patriots, and then we might not have to play them right away. It's still all up in the air, and obviously this week matters, but it's all in the grand scheme of things. Whoever loses this game could still win the AFC South. So what you were cheering for is that whoever wins this game stays ahead in the AFC South, and then we don't have to worry about it as much. But still, I'm cheering for Houston in this game personally. Actually, if you think about it, our rookie is better suited. I read that one right from Victor. Ronald says, "What's up? How you doing? Good to see ya." Ronald says Texans as well. Week to week is better than I expected for Ty Nsekhe after he got carted off Sunday. Yeah, Daniel, same thing. I thought he was done for the season. Buffalo Sports, welcome to the channel. Anything else going on Sunday? Anyone else going to the game on Sunday? Awesome that you're going to the game. I will not be there, but if you're going, have a great time. Cheer your head off. As Coach McDermott said, you knew that the Denver Broncos had some issues in Minnesota with the home field in Minnesota. We can create an even bigger home field advantage. If they had problems in Minnesota, they're going to have even more problems in Buffalo with Bills Mafia yelling their heads off. It's always a tough place to play, New Era Field. So make it loud and have a good time. I always have a good time when I'm in New Era. Victor says, Von Miller is a run stopper at this point. Don't sleep, but he's not beast this year. Again, only 5 sacks for Von Miller, which is a little low for him, but still something that you have to respect, right? You have to respect that. And we saw the Buffalo Bills do a lot of weird blitzing schemes last week. Don't be surprised if the Denver Broncos throw that into their game plan every once in a while too. Throw some weird blitzing schemes, including Von Miller, at you as well. And if you're talking about a run stopper, that's something that you really need, because again, this Buffalo Bills run offense much better than their passing offense. And also, if you look at the Denver Broncos run defense, it's worse than their passing offense. Their rush defense ranked 11th in the league, allowing over 100 yards per game. Pass defense 5th. Our rush offense is ranked 8th, averaging 128.7 yards per game, and our pass offense 23rd. So we're going to want to establish that run. So even if you are talking about Von Miller in the run game, that's something we still have to account for, because we need to establish that run early. And, that might help if we run those jet sweeps as well. If we run those jet sweeps with McKenzie, might make them spread out a little more, might make Von Miller have to chase McKenzie out of the backfield for a second, and that might give Devin Singletary and Frank Gore that little edge that they need to break away from Von Miller. So we'll see what happens, but again, Von Miller just a guy that you always have to count for. You always have to make sure you know where he's at on the field. Adams going to get 100 rushing yards in this game. He's going to have to run for his life, says below zero. Possibly, again, you look at this Denver Broncos defense, over 20 sacks this season. Again, split up pretty evenly. I talked last week about the 7 sacks for the Buffalo Bills, and how not a single Buffalo Bill had more than 1 sack last week. And that's pretty impressive to me, because now you never know where the blitz is coming from. You never know where the pressure is coming from. Well, Denver has that same sort of ability to make you always guess and wonder where that pressure is going to be coming from. Miller versus Ford is a worrisome matchup for the Bills, in my opinion. Miller versus anybody in the NFL is a worrisome matchup. Much more D-line talent on the Broncos than Miami. I do agree with that, but again, there's a lot more talent on a lot of these teams than Miami. And if you look at the Denver Broncos, there's not a lot more talent. If you look again at their defense, overall defense is 4th in the league, but more prone to stop the pass. Looking at the 5th best passing defense, again 11th against the run, over 100 yards allowed. We need to be able to take advantage of that. Hey, Scott Blakely, welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. Glad you are in here. Ford has youth advantages, plus we all know he's going to have help. We hope that he has help, right? Some tight end help on the end, and maybe some running back help as well. And they say that Cody Ford keeps getting better and better as the year goes on. This isn't the same Cody Ford we saw week 1, week 2, week 3, where he needed Ty and Sack to come in and give him some reprieve. This is a different Cody Ford. Hopefully he's up to the task. It's going to be a tall task for Cody Ford. Josh Allen spoke on that just the other day, and he said he believes in Cody Ford, and if the quarterback believes in Cody Ford, the guy that he's protecting, then we have to believe in him as well. We have to know that he's going to be able to protect our guy in Josh Allen. So I think he'll be all right, but we'll see what happens this Sunday. Again, guys, join #sports, as they'll give you live play-by-play and reaction to the Buffalo Bills game here on YouTube, over on Sportscaster. Have a great time. Colts versus Texans, root for the ties, says James Snee. Again, I'm cheering for the Texans in this one. Victor says, I want to see Edmonds on crazy stunts. I wish him and shifted. Yeah. I know that they talk about that over at #sports a lot. I think Milano and Edmonds both had a great game last week. I just want to see them continue to improve on that. We did see Edmonds in different positions last week as well, so we'll see if they improve. Scott Blakey, do I think the Bills will use tight ends to help Ford? I do. I just answered that, actually. I do think they'll use some tight ends. My only problem is one of our best blocking tight ends is the guy who gets the most penalties in Lee Smith, and so it's going to be interesting to see if Lee Smith is on the active roster again. We saw him on the active roster this past week, but he didn't play at all. He didn't play in any plays, I don't think, this week. So we'll see what happens there. Timmy Sherry comes in. Let's go Buffalo. Pretty even stat-wise, says Scott Blakely. Again, our one big advantage would be running the ball. And it's funny to say that because one of the things I think we need to stop when the Denver Broncos are on offense is Phillip Lindsay. If you look at this Denver Broncos offense, they have the second best wide receiver as far as passing yards or receiving yards in the NFL in Courtland Sutton. And that's someone that the Buffalo Bills are going to have to account for. Obviously, Tre'Davious White is going to be on him most of this game. Hey, Ben Johnson, how you doing? Go Bills, absolutely. Do I think okay, you find out. You let us know. You let us know. But yeah, you look at Courtland Sutton for the Denver Broncos, and he's the second in receiving yards for wide receivers behind a guy we'll talk about in a little bit. Lindsay's having a slow season. Yes, he is. He absolutely is, Victor. But he's also averaging Courtland Sutton's averaging 16.5 yards per reception. So I think about Courtland Sutton and I say, hey, we're gonna have Tre'Davious White on him. We should be all right there. But if you think about last week against the Miami Dolphins, Trey White was mostly on Devontae Parker, but still Devontae Parker found a way to get over 100 yards against us. So that has to be a little concerning if you're a Bills fan. Now, it's the first wide receiver to get over 100 yards against the Buffalo Bills this season. We were the last team to allow a 100-plus yard wide receiver this year, so you have to be happy about that. But the fact that he was able to get open and he was able to get separation from White and he was able to find some mismatches, right? He did go up against Levi Wallace a couple of times. So you have to wonder if Courtland Sutton's going to be able to find those same matchups, if this Denver Broncos offense is going to be able to shift Courtland Sutton in a way that Trey White won't be covering him directly. And that makes you wonder what the Buffalo Bills are going to do with that cornerback 2 position. As we saw last week, they really split the snaps between Levi Wallace and Kevin Johnson, right? You saw Levi Wallace play 33 snaps. You saw Kevin Johnson play 36, I believe it was. So really split those up for the CB2 position. So what are they going to do this week at that CB2 position if Levi Wallace starts having trouble? Are they going to put in Kevin Johnson? We'll see what happens, but I think I like Kevin Johnson better at that CB2 position. Let me know what you think in the comments section. But again, Levi Wallace, you can't take away from what he did the first half of the year. He had a really good first few games this season. He's kind of gone downhill the past few games. I will admit that as well. You talk about that Cleveland Browns game. You talk about the Miami Dolphins game. Just tough games for Levi Wallace. But again, those will happen from time to time. That doesn't mean that you have to give up on him completely, but you do have Kevin Johnson there as an insurance policy again, splitting carries or splitting the defensive snaps last week with Levi Wallace getting 33 and Kevin Johnson getting 36. Another key to victories in this game, guys, if you look at the tape last week against the Minnesota Vikings for the Denver Broncos, they had 4 scoring drives in the first half. They had a 20-0 lead in the first half. The one scoring drive was because of a fumble. The Minnesota Vikings fumbled the ball. The Denver Broncos were in field goal range when the fumble happened, so they got a field goal. The other 3 scoring drives, the Minnesota Vikings allowed 30-plus yard plays on all 3 of those drives. So we have to limit the big plays. We really have to limit what Courtland Sutton can do in the open field. We have to limit what Phillip Lindsay can do if he gets a chance to. Because 2 weeks ago against the Cleveland Browns, even though I do agree that Phillip Lindsay's having a rough year, Phillip Lindsay had 9 carries for 90 yards. So he's still capable of rushing at 10 yards a clip. He's still capable of making big plays downfield. Now, last week he had 60-some yards on, I think, 14 carries or something of that nature. So we're going to see what happens. Yeah, I'm showing this now, Victor. I don't know why Sweeney's on the inactive list all the time when you have DeMarco in there. I know DeMarco is huge for special teams. He's one of those guys that's a captain on the special teams unit, but I think Sweeney should at least be in there for Lee Smith. See what Sweeney has before you just continue to put him on the inactive list. I want to see what you have in Tommy Sweeney this season. I thought at the beginning of the year he played pretty well. I don't prefer Lee, says Victor. Yeah, I don't like it either. I don't like Lee at all, but I expect more of the same from Wallace. KJ splitting time, says Daniel. Daniel, I do too. I think that's great for the Buffalo Bills, right? Keep that CB constantly moving in and out. Keep him healthy and keep him fresh is the word I was looking for, so that way he can come in and cover that number 2 guy. Because again, if Trey White is on Cortland Sutton all game, I don't have any issues with that. I think that Trey White can shut down whoever he is up against. But it's when they make that mismatch against the number 2, can the number 2 perform at the same high level? Activate Duke, says Ben Johnson. F. Smith. I think Duke would be a great red zone target. Again, 2 weeks ago, I go back to that game against Cleveland when you had Andre Roberts in there in certain situations where you would have loved to have Duke Williams in there, and it just didn't make sense to me. Andre Roberts, you gotta love his special teams, what he adds to this team, but at the same time, he's not the greatest receiving threat. So I think getting Duke Williams in there would be a huge help. Bills run D needs to stay strong. We had a great week last week, only allowing over 20 yards in the run game last week to the Miami Dolphins. But obviously, 2 weeks prior, talk about the Eagles game. You talk about that game against the Washington Redskins where we allowed AP to get over 100 yards in the first half. Obviously, this run defense currently ranked, we're ranked 18th in the league, allowing over 100 yards per game, 106.3. Obviously, this run defense needs a little help. Hopefully, it can stay where it was last week, because again, we know what this game is going to be. It's going to be a grind out type game, few possessions by both teams, and we're going to see what happens. But I think the Buffalo Bills do have a little bit of an edge, and again, I obviously picked them Wednesday during my pick'em videos. We need no more in the red zone. Last week in the red zone, we were 2 for 4 in touchdowns. Scott Blakely comes in with the super chat, the first super chat in Bill-ievers Talk history, and that's Scott Blakely. Joe, have the Bills arrived? If they play like last week, they have a great shot of making an incredible run. Thoughts? Scott Blakely, first of all, my thought is thank you for the super chat, guys. I really appreciate everything you guys have done for the channel, of course. Have the Bills arrived? Again, like I said on Monday during my post-game show, small sample size. I don't want to get too excited. I know Dable being up in the booth was a great improvement, and we know that's where Dable wants to be. I don't want to get too excited. Let's see what we can do against this defense, right? The number 4th ranked defense in the NFL. Let's see how we do. Again, Denver only allowing 210 passing yards per game. So if we could do better than that, we're not gonna do too much better than that, right? We saw Josh Allen throw for over 250 last week, and that was his season high. So we never expect to throw too much more than that. But if we see the same numbers from Josh Allen this week as we did last week, I think we have reason for optimism. Right now, I'm going to say it's too small of a sample size to think that the Bills have arrived, but it's good to see what the future could hold for this team if they're clicking on all cylinders. So to get back to what Victor said about we need more in the red zone, again, last week we were 2 for 4 in red zone touchdown efficiency. That's been one of our bright spots, though, this season. Number 1 in the league in red zone touchdown efficiency. And yes, I do believe Duke would help us in the red zone. We saw in that Titans game his first touchdown in the NFL was in the red zone, was a huge presence there, and that was the game-winning touchdown in that game. Welcome to School Hard Knocks, says Victor. Yeah, we do expect Dawson Knox to have more of a red zone presence as well. Justin comes in, bench Lee Smith and add Duke Williams to the active roster. Yeah, everyone's been saying that. I think if you bench Lee Smith, though, that means more for Tommy Sweeney that would for Duke Williams. I'm not sure why this team would carry 6 active wide receivers if you're only averaging 216, 217 yards a game. Now, if you plan on throwing 40 times a game like we did against Cleveland, then maybe you do want to bring in that 6th wide receiver, but I just don't think the Bills are the type of team that you want to throw over 40 times. I find it very rare that you actually want your quarterback to throw the ball more than 40 times, even if you're Drew Brees or someone like that. I just think you want to be able to manage a game better than that. Normally, if you're throwing that many times, it's because you're down in the game. And we don't want to be down. We want to have more points than the other team does. So we'll see what happens. Victor says they tiptoe the deep end and survived. Talking about the Bills, I think. Do you think the Bills blitz more than like last week? Asked James Snee. I honestly don't know, and that's kind of the fun part about it. If we don't know, the defensive or the offensive coordinators are wondering the same thing, right? The Denver Broncos offensive coordinators now have something else to look at on tape and say, we need to protect against this. I think against a young quarterback, if I were to guess, a young quarterback at home, I think we do run those blitzes. We do run some blitz schemes. Make him make quick decisions, because if you look at those blitzes, a lot of them were run blitzes as well. They would have done well against the run. So if we run those blitzes, get to Phillip Lindsay in the backfield will really help us keep them behind the chains, which we saw a lot of last week against the Miami Dolphins. Is they had a lot of second and third and longs that made it harder for them to convert on third downs. And then you get that defense off the field, give the offense more time with the ball. This is going to be a game where whichever defense gets tired first is going to be the defense that bends, and the defense that bends and breaks is the defense that's the team that's going to lose this game. So you want to be able to control time possession. That's always been one of the biggest things for the Buffalo Bills. Control time possession, and again, the way you do that, don't have turnovers. Don't commit penalties. Again, guys, we talk about the turnover and how close the Bills and the Broncos are with the turnover differential. The penalties are just as close. You look at penalties this season, the Denver Broncos have 71. The Bills have 73, so they're right there, right next to each other. So just don't do anything stupid. Don't have any dumb penalties. Again, there was a time this season where the Bills led the league in dead ball penalties. We've done a lot better with that over the past few weeks, and it's really made me happy. Hope it's made you happy as well, as the Buffalo Bills continue to improve on that number. Love those blitz packages, says Scott Blakely. I did too. Again, 7 sacks last week. Talk about a team that constantly was being told, hey, you're not doing a good job getting to the quarterback. You have 7 sacks last week against a guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a smart guy, right? Talk about a guy who went to Harvard, good at reading blitzes, good at setting up the offensive line protection schemes to protect against things like that. 7 sacks was a very impressive number. I don't care who it was against. Daniel comes in throwing 40-plus times a game is not a recipe for victory for the Bills. Need a good run game going. And we do. When we have a guy in Devin Singletary, he's going to be able to do that, right? A guy that, for some reason, in some games, we haven't been able to get the ball to him. We need to be able to get the ball to him, especially early on. Get his motor running, as they say. And then you have Frank Gore as well. And Frank Gore, although he hasn't been as good these past couple weeks, let's get him some holes. Again, he's less than 40 yards away from getting to that number 3 in the all-time list. So let's get him there. Let's get him to that number 3 all-time this week against the Denver Broncos, because, again, he's just one of those guys that's going to get you 3-4 yards, it seems like, every single carry. Last week, he averaged 2.5 yards a carry. I'm sure he wants to up that number a little bit. Past couple weeks been a little tough for Frank Gore, but still has the chance to plow some people over. Need him in those goal line situations. Need him in those 3rd, 4th and 1s that we love to run. Hopefully on 4th and 1s we don't run Josh Allen as much, and we need Frank Gore in order to not have to run Josh Allen as much, even though Josh Allen converting on 3rd downs is better than Frank Gore this season. So that's something that I thought was very interesting. A more balanced attack worked last week. Yeah, we had 34 run plays, 33 pass plays last week. So very balanced on offense. We need to keep that up. Again, it'll be interesting to see what Dable has planned on offense against this Denver Broncos defense. One thing that I really want to see, again, we talk about Cortland Sutton, who's 2nd in wide receiving yards in the AFC. Well, who's first? John Brown. Now, Travis Kelce leads the AFC in receiving yards, but he's a tight end. So John Brown is number 1 wide receiver in the AFC in receiving yards. Want to see him take advantage of these Denver Broncos corners. Those safeties are really good over the top. The corners could use some help, though. So you look at John Brown. This could be a breakout game for Cole Beasley, because the safeties are going to be paying a lot of attention to John Brown. Could be something that Cole Beasley could take advantage of in the passing game if he goes up against the CB2 or even CB3 in the slot. You could see a lot out of Cole Beasley in this game. Let me get to some of these comments again. Yeldon and Duke always inactive as of recent. Yeah, the past 3 weeks it's been that way. Duke was an injury. Yeldon just blows chunks. Well, Yeldon is expendable. You talk about picking up Yeldon before the NFL draft. You were not sure that you were going to get a Devin Singletary in the NFL draft. You get Devin Singletary in the NFL draft, and to be honest, guys, he's looking like the 2nd, maybe 3rd best running back taken in the draft. He's really been a surprise, I think, for the Buffalo Bills as far as his explosiveness, his elusiveness. He's done a great job creating big plays, and I think that makes TJ Yeldon expendable. So you have him on the inactive list because you're not going to sit Frank Gore. You're not going to sit Devin Singletary. You're not going to sit Patrick DeMarco. So you have TJ Yeldon there just in case. case, right? If someone gets hurt, you know you have TJ Yeldon there to back someone up. And that's someone that you could have as a great safety blanket, I think. To have TJ Yeldon there as a safety net at the running back position, a guy who's been there plenty of times, a guy who knows what he's doing at the running back position, I think that's a huge benefit for the Buffalo Bills, especially at practice. He's going to be able to talk to Devin Singletary and tell him what he should be seeing in these holes. I think it's nothing but a big help. I hope that TJ Yeldon has taken the role nicely and kindly. We know that TJ Yeldon has had some difficulties in the past, so hopefully those have not continued. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on Bill-ievers Talk. If you haven't hit that like button already, guys, hit that like button. I really appreciate all you guys who are in the chat right now. Again, got through 2 keys to victory right now. First, obviously, that O-line against the Denver Broncos. You talk about no Ty and Seki. Cody Ford needs to step up. Talk about Von Miller and Derek Wolfe, both with 5 sacks for the Denver Broncos. And then I talked about limiting the big plays, right? You got to limit the big plays. Again, on 3 of Denver's 4 scoring drives last week, they had 1 play or more of 30-plus yards. So you want to be able to stop those big plays, and it's going to really stop that Denver Broncos offense. Even when they had 3 series of 30-yard plays, 2 of those ended in field goals still. So still not having great success getting into the end zone. That really cost them in that game. So we need to keep them out of the end zone. They don't do well getting into the end zone. Well, we can't help them get into the end zone. Let's make it as hard on them possible. Scott says, hit that like button, everyone. Thank you very much. Absolutely hit that like button. Victor comes in. I think he's ready from injury. Talking about Duke Williams. I think they don't want to slow the offense down. Rumors he's had tough adjustments adjusting to the playbook. And we talked about that at the beginning of the season. Remember, everyone gave me a hard time because I thought that Duke Williams would start on the practice squad, and that is why. Because you talk about that playbook, it's going to be a little bit different than in the CFL. You talk about the pace of play, things are going to be a little bit different in the NFL than the CFL. It was nice that he came in for that Tennessee game. Nice that he got that touchdown. Great story for the Buffalo Bills. And he just like TJ Yeldon, he's a great insurance blanket to have. You know that you have a guy who could be a red zone threat if, for whatever reason, a wide receiver were to go down this season. Scott says, Joe, we need turnovers to shorten the field. Definitely not the bill collectors so far this season. Yeah, like I said, so far the turnover differential for the Buffalo Bills even at 0, right? The Denver Broncos at -2. So if there were ever a time to take advantage of some turnovers, it would be during this stretch. After the Broncos, you talk about that Thanksgiving game against Dallas, you talk about that game against Baltimore, then Pittsburgh, and then, of course, the Evil Empire, the New England Patriots. I would love to come away from those 4 games. I would love to go 3-2 in these next 5 games. If we go 3-2 in these next 5 games, I really obviously like our chances to make the playoffs. That puts us at 10 wins with a game against the Jets to go. But I'm not going to rule out winning 4 of these games. I'm not going to rule that out. I know a lot of you are, but hey, this Buffalo Bills team, if they played like they did last week, they can hang in there with some of the best teams in the league. And if you listen to Cover 1, they just talked about this yesterday. I saw it on their YouTube video. They talk about how Baltimore is going to be coming in off a tough matchup against the Patriots, or against San Fran. I forget which one. I think it's San Fran, actually. Against San Fran, coming to Buffalo. Buffalo, always a tough place to play. No reason to think that we can't upset the Baltimore Ravens in Buffalo. Greg talked about it at Cover 1, and that's something that I'm here to tell you guys too. It could happen. So watch out for that game. Might be a little bit sneaky for our Buffalo Bills. But again, I would love to see us go at least 3-2 in this stretch. 4-1 would be all the better. I'm not ruling that out just yet. A few of our players even McDermott thinks our O is a tough one to master. Well, it is a tough one to master. Again, you're talking about 9 of 11 new starters, so we would love. I mean, obviously, at this point of the year, you'd love to see them more cohesive at this time, but it took some time to get ready. And then Dable now up in the booth. Obviously, things can change, and he talked about the Bills' offense playing a little more loose, playing a little more, being able to just let loose and go out there and play football, and that's what they're doing right now. At least that's what they did last week. Let's hope that momentum keeps going. My third key to victory was the pass defense for the Buffalo Bills. We talked about Courtland Sutton. We talked about the CB2, how Levi Wallace and Kevin Johnson were splitting time. So we want to make sure that we figure out what's going on there, and we want to make sure we stop Courtland Sutton. Again, number 2 as far as wide receivers go in the AFC in receiving yards this season. So those are 3 keys to victory for me as far as the Buffalo Bills go. We need to avoid letting Courtland Sutton get big plays. We need to get pressure on their quarterback. These are all things you guys know, heard before. Love to win the turnover battle if we could. Love to not commit so many penalties. win time possession. All those things are important, of course. So we want to see those things. Last I heard, the Thursday night game was 10-10 at the half. I don't want to make you guys miss too much of this game. Again, it's going to be a great game. Colts are in the red zone, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Fans forget we have 6 rookie starters. Well, we have 9 different starters. I don't think we have 6 rookie starters, but we have 9 different starters on offense for the Buffalo Bills. I think the only rookies on offense that we have are now Cody Ford and Devin Singletary. I don't think there are any other starting rookies on this team, but I could be wrong. I hope son gets diarrhea. Maybe I hope Dable stays in the booth again. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't at this time. I think that he fits up there, right? And again, we knew this last year. Last year he wanted to stay in the booth. When Peterman was in week 1, he was actually up in the booth for that game. But then when Allen became the quarterback, was obvious that he'd be the starter. Then Dable came back on the field. So I don't know what triggered him moving up to the booth, other than Coach McDermott probably coming out and saying, "Hey guys, whatever you guys are doing on offense, not working. We need to score more points." And we saw that last weekend. Going into last week, the Buffalo Bills were only averaging 19.3, 19.8 points per game. Now we're up to, and it's sad to say up to, but we're up to 21.1 points per game. 21 points per game, basically good for 20th in the NFL. So we're moving up that list. So let's hope that we keep on moving down. Keep me up to date, saying the Colts just scored a TD to go up. What would it be then? 17-10 on the Houston Texans. Thank you for the update. Special teams coach up in the booth, awful coverage. I think that our special teams are bad. I just don't think that. And they talked about this a little bit on I think it was Buffalo Rumblings. Siren Neal went out last game. He's currently in concussion protocol. Again, something that we'll talk about tomorrow in my injury report edition going into the game this Sunday. And that really changed the special teams, because early in that game, and this is something I spoke to Monday during the post game, we actually did really good on special teams. Remember the first kickoff, we stopped them inside the 20, and then there was a penalty putting them inside the 10. Really got this defense set up good to start off this game, right? You talk about Lorenzo Alexander with that huge play on first down for a 6-yard loss, I believe it was. Really set up the Dolphins behind the sticks, and that's something that we want to keep doing against the Denver Broncos. We want to try to keep them behind the sticks as much as possible, make it hard for those 3rd and longs to be converted. So I would like to see that, and again, I would like to see our 3rd down conversion rate get better. Again, the Buffalo Bills sitting there at 33% this season on 3rd down conversions. You're talking about teams like the Dallas Cowboys and Baltimore Ravens sitting above 45%. The Cowboys are actually above 50% on 3rd down conversions. Now, a lot of that goes to play calling on 1st and 2nd down, but would love to see us improve in that category as we get ready to play the tougher teams. This Denver Broncos team, even though they're 3-7, like I said, they're going to be a tough out. I'm happy this game's at home. If this game was at Mile High, I would have a lot more concerns about this game. But I'm glad this game's at home. Hopefully, again, as was said earlier, we need this win. We need this win to make sure that we stay above those teams in the playoff race. Again, whoever loses this game falls a half game further back of the Buffalo Bills. And then if the Bills could win on Sunday, that means they'd be 2 games back. And that means even if Oakland beats the Jets on Sunday, which I call for that upset on Wednesday, so be careful there. But even if Oakland beats the Jets, that means we're 2 games up on whoever the outside team is. And that's a good place to be. And again, I'm not giving up on the AFC East. We're only 2 games back of the Patriots with the game to go. Again, if we could go 4-1 in the next 5 games, which again I think is possible, I really do think that's possible. We'll see what happens from there, especially if one of those 4 wins is against the New England Patriots, and then all of a sudden things get a little crazy hectic from there. Again, New England has Dallas this week. That's not going to be an easy game for them. They still have Kansas City. They still have Houston. Anything can happen in the NFL, so we're going to see we inching closer to scoring on I'm sorry, I don't know what that says. I'm sorry, Victor. Hope we do so this weekend. Can't believe I'm hoping the New Jersey Jets win, says Scott Blakely. Then Victor comes in and says same. Yeah, I don't know if I'm hoping for them to win. I talked about that in my AFC edition on Monday. I don't know if I can hope for the Patriots or for the Jets or for the Dolphins to win. I'm going to watch with a little more intrigue, that's for sure. But they are still division rivals. The only time I'll cheer for Miami, New England, or the Jets is when they're playing each other, and then it matters which one wins and which one loses for the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be cheering for the Dolphins week 17 because hopefully that game, if the Miami Dolphins could upset the Patriots, that means the Bills will win the division, and that would be awesome if we can hold out and beat the Jets. That'd be great. I don't know. I think that would just be a lot of fun to be able to say we win the AFC East in 2019, and I don't think that is out of the realm of possibilities just yet. Again, if we play like we did last week, I think this team really has a good shot to go through this gauntlet and win a few games that a lot of media experts think we didn't have a chance to, and that includes that New England game. Again, remember, New England Patriots beat us 16-10 last time we played Week 4, and that had a lot to do with, of course, our special teams. Yay! We have to avoid in this game, and for the rest of the season, I'm going to say this. We have to avoid giving up special teams touchdowns, and we have to avoid giving up onside kicks. We have to avoid giving up extra possessions. The Miami Dolphins, again, took advantage of that last week. Again, 3 years in a row, the Dolphins have recovered an onside kick against the Buffalo Bills, and that's the second onside kick recovered this season. Only the second onside kick recovered this season, and it was against our Buffalo Bills. The Bills would need the win in the New England game. It would be like a 2-game swing. Absolutely. We need that win if we want to have a shot at the AFC East. But again, I think it's doable. I mean, you look at this offense now compared to where they were Week 4. New England hasn't changed all that much. I mean, we watch New England, they're still the same team, struggling on offense, putting up points when they can, and really good on defense. And even that really good on defense part has calmed back a little bit, right? They're still number 1 in defense in the league, but after that Ravens game, that defense has holes. Now, can the Buffalo Bills take advantage of those holes? That's yet to be seen. I don't know. But that New England Patriots defense has holes. Our offense has gotten better. Their offense still obviously has question marks. So if we can continue to improve on offense, there's no reason to think that we cannot beat this New England Patriots team, even though it is in New England. I'll cheer for New England if they play against ISIS. That sounds about right. Sounds about right, Daniel. Maybe then I'll cheer for him as well. But yeah, I think we will need that win in New England, but it's going to be a fun game either way. But guys, don't forget about this weekend. We want to go 1-0 this week against the Denver Broncos. And again, guys, join #sports before the live play and reaction coverage to the game this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. And again, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button as we have you covered throughout the season on all Buffalo Bills news. And we not only keep you up to date on Buffalo Bills, also keep you up to date on all Buffalo sports. Sabres playing the Bruins right now. Last I saw, they were down 3-2. That game has gone final with the Sabres losing to the Bruins 3-2. In that one, Sabres continue to be on this downward spiral of losing streak. I hate it. You see Jack Eichel getting mad in the news because he's and I see people saying all the time, and I agree, he's wasting his career in Buffalo right now, so we need to do better. Now, I'm not giving up on this new head coach yet, but we need to see what he can do. We need to see what he can do to turn this team around. Maybe that GM start questioning what he can do. Both the Bulls men and women's basketball team playing today. The Buffalo Bulls men team tied with UConn at 34 at the half. The women's team just tipping off against San Jose State, up 6-4 early on in the first quarter there. Remember, the NCAA women's team had 4 quarters now. Most of you probably don't know that. And compared to the men's team that only has 2 halves. So those are the scores from around Buffalo sports. Again, hit that subscribe button. Not only do we keep you updated on the Bills, keep you updated on the Sabres, the Bulls, the Bandits, all of them. So right here on Bill-ievers Talk. So hit that subscribe button, like this video. And if you're not watching this live, go ahead and leave a comment. Again, Scott, thank you for the super chat, guys. Again, thank you all for getting me over 1,000K. I promised you I would do something special. I will be doing something special. Probably announce it on Thanksgiving. Talk about something to be thankful for. Remember, I'll be live right here during the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. So make sure you join me. And again, make sure you join me throughout the week as I'll be posting videos every single workday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'll be joining you tomorrow again, giving you the injury report. So again, thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and hey, the Bills right there, 7-3, have a chance to go 8-3 this week. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to y'all soon. Until I do, go Bills.